all. So last night was crazy. I was glued to the tube from 8 to 11:30. It was crazy. And from 9 to 11:30, I was looking at the TV like, all right. So from 8 to 9, Single Ladies was on. Single Ladies, didn't have too much Foolie Wang. Alright, so Malcolm lied about having an ex-wife. Okay, so clearly there's going to be more to the story because that's not anything to lie about. And as it showed on the previews, his brother was like, everything isn't as it appears. So yeah, and then he's hugging the woman, whatever. So clearly there's more to the story. And I'm like, what is that to lie about, that you're divorced? Big whoop. Now, if you were still married or if you had a kid, now that's something, that would be kind of like, what the hell? But, so yeah, we'll see, I guess, what they decide to do with the storyline there. But yeah, I'm tired of the whole April and the little singer storyline. Like, I'm sick of them. But anyway, so 8 to 9 was pretty non-eventful. Val went ahead and decided to forego her 3-month rule, which I can't say that I blame her because that was so sweet of him to give her a little candlelit bath and put on her little pajamas and put her in bed and then leave. Like, how many men would see a woman that they are attracted to and are dating naked and just put her to bed without trying anything? Hardly any. So that was very gentlemanlike of him to do that. So I don't blame her for calling him back. So that was Single Ladies. Okay. So the start of the Foolie Wang began at 9 o'clock with Basketball Wives. Okay. I need for Mika to not come back next season. I just really, because she can't shut her mouth and no one cares about her on the cast. Like, they could give a flying flip about her. Susie threw her under the bus. Jen just don't care, okay? Evelyn and Shawnee were sitting there just cracking up at Tammy mocking her at dinner. And I mean, I'm not talking about just laughing like, but I'm beating on the table. Like, really? Is it that funny? I mean, come on. So clearly, what is there to salvage from that? There's no friendship. Okay, so, and frankly, my dignity would just be too much for me to go back on that show after being treated like that. And like, none of the women have her back at all. And like, when she was talking, sometimes she'd be looking around. You know how sometimes people are looking around like for some type of affirmation or for someone to kind of step in. That didn't happen. No one had her back. If anything, they threw in more stuff to further throw her under the bus. So I was like, boo, you might as well just call it a day, okay? And Susie, she needed to be beat down, okay? Because, no, Mika should not have come to her with that stuff. She shouldn't have, okay? And I'm like, you stupid, because if you're going to go on what other people have said about other people, which typically that's what she's been doing. That's how she came at Royce. Like, oh, well, I heard you with this, and then making wisecracks about Tammy, her drinking and her weave and yada, yada, yada. Okay, when she got a weave too. Okay. And she heard that Susie couldn't hold information. But then you go and tell her stuff. And what happens? She runs and tells it because that's what she does. And she didn't learn her lesson from last season when Evelyn cussed her out when she ran her mouth last season. Now, her mouth is one big hole. And whatever comes in goes right out. Just a black hole. Okay? Just don't expect what you tell her to be kept. It's gonna be lost. All right, because she gonna run and tell it. So that was just dumb. You know, on both of their parts, both of them run their mouths too much. Okay, just bottom line. But Tammy, okay, I love Tammy, but I need her to stop. Okay, she's too old. Fighting people is something you do, you know, when you're young and dumb, you know, or when you always have people, when you live in an environment where people are trying to jump you and things of that nature, that's different. But you're in Spain or Italy. Where were they? They might have been Spain last time. I think Italy. Yeah. Okay. Like on a vacation. You are in a lovely, you know, villa, staying, going to nice restaurants. That's no place for hood rat behavior. Okay. You don't like Mika. Okay, we know this. You don't gotta put your hands on the girl. Like, seriously, because you can go to jail. You can't just put your hands on people. That's called assault. And she has daughters. So she needs to be an example for her daughters. Like, if I had a daughter, I would want to show her what a lady is like. What it is to be a lady. That you're not going to get along with everybody. That's part of life. Sometimes you may not like someone, they may not like you. But you can't just go around putting your hands on people. There are other ways to deal with that. Mainly by just ignoring that person. You don't have to talk to them. Like, Tammy does not have to engage Mika in any conversation. So it's just too much. And like I said, it's illegal. She could be sitting up in jail. Now, what are your kids going to do while you're in jail? Because you lost your temper and can't keep your hands to yourself. It makes no sense. And I'm guessing Mika didn't press charges, but decided to go ahead with a lawsuit. And part of the lawsuit is that wages, because she was unable to film a day of the show because of the fight. But Mika left. That wasn't Tammy's fault. She chose to leave. I mean, she could have stayed and got further abused, but she chose to leave. So how are you going to sue Tammy for loss of wages when you chose to leave? It's not that you were so bruised and battered up that you couldn't film. You left like a coward. And they're doing this lawsuit like a little beat. I mean, seriously, like she didn't hurt, she didn't cause, it didn't look nothing wrong. It did not look like anything was wrong with her. She looked her normal self, which ain't that great anyway. But she looked her normal self. So I didn't see a black eye. I didn't see a knot. I didn't see a scratch. So if anything, she should just press charges and call it a day. But to sue when you don't have any bodily harm, I mean, you were, somebody did cause you bodily harm. Yes. Okay. But you weren't injured. There are no injuries, nor did she have to leave. She chose to leave. So I don't get it. But I really need Tammy to get herself together because she's too old for that, and she got kids. Stop it. So then at 10, we had the Real Housewives of New York reunion. That was some pure fooly wang. I mean, Andy is gonna lose his cool. They showed the previews for the next episode, and he's gonna tell them to shut the F up. But I would have shut the reunion down because it was just too much. Too many people talking. No one could speak without someone trying to interject. No one could like say a complete thought. It was just. I was like, oh my gosh. And I was wondering, like, why don't they have any sisters on Real Housewives of New York? Because clearly they are black people in New York, and also, you know, some well-to-do black people in New York. New York is not the place for people, you know, who don't have any kind of money, because the cost of living in New York is crazy. It's not like Georgia where you can buy a 5-bedroom house for 200 G's. That ain't how it is. So for people who own any property in New York, they got money. Okay, and it's some black folks that own property in New York and who have money. So I'm like, why are there no black people? Okay, but after last night's reunion, I see why. Because Ramona would have got punched in the face. Okay, had there been a sister on the show, Ramona would have got punched in the face talking about somebody's child. Because, sisters don't play that. Don't talk about a sister's child, okay? You will get dealt with, all right? So, I've made it up in my mind that Ramona and Alex are crazy, okay? Kelly, she's in her own little world, a little out there. But I don't think Kelly is malicious. Ramona is malicious. The things that Ramona says are extremely below the belt and uncalled for. Yes, Luann, has an air about herself, but she doesn't fight dirty like Ramona. I'm sorry. She has not done anything to Ramona to warrant Ramona saying what she said about her. And that whole pregnancy test thing on Luann's party ship, that was ridiculous. I'm like, of all times to do that, that was just totally that was inappropriate. I was so mad when they did that. So inappropriate. Ramona, it's like she has no concept of what is appropriate. And I think it's because she's an alcoholic. She's just drunk and just doesn't realize. Because, it's Pinot this, Pinot that. She got to have Pinot as soon as she comes in the door. If you don't have Pinot, she's acting a fool because you don't have it. She's crying in Morocco on Alex's chest and needs Pinot like it's an IV. Like she has to have it for sustenance. I'm like, what the hell? You drunk. And then have the nerve to talk about Luann's parenting and that she's a weekend mom and her daughter's been in 4 different schools in 4 years and her husband had an open relationship and cheated on each other and da-da-da-da-da-da. Shut up. Like, what in the heck? Your daughter, Ramona's daughter, said on the show that her and her husband are never home and that she doesn't know when they're coming home, that they just go places and she doesn't know. Her daughter said that on the show. So who is she to tell somebody else that they're just a weekend mom? Excuse me. So rude. And then her and the whole, my marriage is perfect, my child is perfect, da-da-da-da-da. Whenever someone says that, something's wrong, okay? Something's wrong, because if your marriage is so wonderful and your child is so wonderful, it'll speak for itself. You don't have to state it and throw it in people's faces and be condescending by telling Luann, and I wish for you to have a marriage as good as mine. Like, excuse me, you biatch. Like, no, that is like so inappropriate and rude and condescending. You don't say that to people. And then for her to tell Jill, she wished she had a husband as good as hers. Excuse me, what is wrong with Bobby? So now you making jabs at Bobby, who's not even on the show, to defend himself. She's just reckless, and I can't stand it. And then she like sitting there looking crazy. Like on the show last night, she was looking crazy. And like whenever Andy would ask her a question, she would not directly answer the question. She would tiptoe around and make excuses, like when he asked her if she thought that it was appropriate to say that about Luann's marriage, and she was like, well, Luann has made comments about my marriage, and Luann's like, when? Tell me when. And she couldn't even, well, I'm not gonna go there because you can't. Don't accuse people of doing stuff when you cannot give an example of when they did it. You have no leg to stand on, so shut up. Like, Luann has talked about her eyes, and has made little comments, but she has not said anything about Ramona's marriage. The psychic, was telling Ramona the little fortune or whatever, Luann told her what she was saying, but she wasn't saying anything about her marriage. She was just letting her know what the psychic was saying because she was French. So, and Ramona doesn't know French. So, big whoop. And she told Ramona that she was there for her. And she said, she would not want anybody to go through what she went through. And Ramona steady, I'm like, what with you. And then Alex, with her crazy self, she's sitting up there shaking, and Kelly's like, are you okay? Like, are you on drugs? Like, I mean, okay, Alex is crazy. And then for her to uphold Simon and his foolishness, I understand he's your husband, but wrong is wrong. I'm sorry, but if my husband called someone a cunt, especially someone that's in my circle, I'm going to let him know that was inappropriate and you need to apologize. I would not uphold my husband in yelling at women and calling women names. I'm sorry. Even though I got to go to bed or go sleep with him at night, I'm not going to uphold that. And Alex does. She makes, and when Andy asked her, do you think it's appropriate for a man to yell at a woman? She was like, yeah. And I'm like, no, it is not appropriate. And I mean, it's not appropriate for anyone to yell at anyone, but a man more so because he's more threatening. He is bigger and he's more threatening. And men should not be aggressive towards women. That's just, anybody's mama should teach them that. What the heck? So I don't get it. And she doesn't get it. Like, he may be going homie the clown on her at home, going upside her head, but she does not need to uphold him treating other women like crap. I mean, it's ridiculous. They are crazy, okay? And I think Cindy is a little off too, because she goes off real quick, and then I mean she even snapped on Luann, and Luann was trying to help. She's like, don't tell me what to do to Luann, and I'm like, what? Wait, like, calm down, like. And I think because she's so used to doing things her way, she's so independent, has her own business, handles everything, even had her children her own way, pretty much an arranged thing with having her children. And, so I'm not shocked that her and her children's father are in a relationship, because, I mean, her personality, it seems like it's too hard for her to coexist with someone, because she has to be in control and everything has to be her way. And, I mean, it's just hard to coexist with someone like that. And, I mean, what she did to Sonia was rude. I mean, if I invited someone over, or even if we were out somewhere, for dinner, lunch, breakfast, whatever, and they were on their cell phone the whole time, I would be offended. That is rude. That is bad etiquette. You don't do that. And if she knew that she had that conference call, she should have rescheduled with Sonia. Instead of making excuses, well, I have a business and, I had a conference call scheduled, and she should have understood as my friend that I have a business to run and I had a conference call. No, if you have a conference call, you either need to leave the room, like she should have left the room, or she should have rescheduled. You bring your assistant over, you on a conference call, and this is supposed to be a breakfast. Like, that was inappropriate. She should have done it another time when she didn't need to be on the phone. So that was just crazy. But I was like, honey, these women. And I'm trying to do my Tellem Tuesdays on Tuesday. Last week I didn't, because my shows, some of my shows come on so that I would not be able to make the video on Tuesday. It would have to be after Tuesday. Like Hawthorne comes on tonight at 10, meaning I would have to make my video at 11, which is highly unlikely. So I just went ahead and did it. Last week she went ahead and did the do with Nick. And I knew, nothing good could come of her wearing that dress. Okay, you don't dress like that for an elderly birthday party. Like, where did she think she was going? I knew nothing good was going to come of that dress. So, I don't know what's going to happen, but they're doing the most in Hawthorne this season. I mean, it is a lot of drama in a little bit of time. I don't know why they are making it so crazy, but it is what it is. All right, y'all, so see you later. Peace.